Best Tech, Eye of Ra. Who was it? There was a guy that put a comment in one of my videos, and in the comment section, I thought it was hilarious because he's like, why don't these Chinese companies just give a free knife to some guy in the States and have him name the knives, okay? And I thought that was an excellent idea. How about the Best Techman? That sounds a lot like Leatherman, but okay. You know, it's just, hey, I mean, but they have done some that are okay, right? Right? Because we've got the Hornet. I can say that. That is within my phonics learnedness. And learnedness, I'm good. I'm locked down too long. Swordfish. Yes, I do remember that word being able to be pronounced in the English language. And here you go, the Paladin. Okay, a little bit more difficult, but okay, we can do that. But oh baby, they got some good ones out there. So I'm just saying, Eye of Ra. Actually, I mean, I studied a lot on Egyptian culture, Egyptology, and stuff like that. So I can do Eye of Ra. And there is the Eye of Ra. You know, are they just running out of ideas? Or, you know, let's do, well, design flows. Okay. Blade shape makes sense. Okay. But just kind of another one on a theme. You know, the Texel, that was kind of pretty good. Kind of a little bit smaller, lighter, you know, than like the Paladin or the Swordfish, which are my favorites, okay? And then, of course, I not only have the Hornet with a beautiful lanyard that I made in green, but I got it in red. And I don't know, I hated it when it first came out because I was never going to forgive them for doing this. What the hell does that look like? It looks like a 1/2-inch blade and a 5-inch handle, doesn't it? But when you start figuring that you extend this blade length, you're going to cut the lanyard off. But then if you're going to put a lanyard hole in an idiot spot like this, then I'm going to put a lanyard through it because, by God, you did shorten the blade enough. I mean, this thing could have been real, and you could have just put a little lanyard hole right through there. In fact, I think if you take the scales off, you'll see they did a hole in there, in the liner. But, okay. But still, I love the knife, you know. I still love the knife. So, there you go. Shit. You know, whatever. It's no explaining craziness, and it's all crazy here. Now, get these SOBs out of the way and get the Eye of Ra into the picture. The lockup is 50% on this dog. How about this dog? About the same, so at least there's continuity here, you know that? Actually, I guess I'm going to have to relent. This may be the starting out hating it like the Hornet and then ending up loving it like the Hornet type of situation, but it makes a lot of sense, actually. It's just I like to laugh at it. The blade shape is really nice, don't you think? I mean, actually, they did well with this. This is straight here. It's not drop point, per se. And then, you know, piercing, slicing, you could do that. Time to pierce and slice. Pierce and slice. Pierce and slice. There we go. So yes, and we're cutting up a ganzo here. Oh, and slice and slice. Yeah, they're very sharp out of the box. So, and now, children, here's the kind of unfortunate part. D2. Okay. Dear Best Tech, I've had my fill of D2. I know everybody was screaming for it 2 years ago, but the party's over. And as Dandy Don used to sing on Monday Night Football, Oh my God, with the GIF and Cosell. But the party's over, dudes. Okay, there's a backspacer in G10. I'm just saying, N690, I mean, and I'm not saying necessarily that N690 or 14C28N or 12C27 or VG10 or whatever is necessarily a better performing steel necessarily, but if they're properly heat treated, they're going to be pretty good. And then you have a full stainless, not a semi-stainless steel blade. So for those people who live in humid climates, thank God I live in the desert, so it really, almost really makes no difference to me. But I'm going to have one of these tested. And here was the next thought I was going to go with, which is if you actually test D2, depending on where it's made, the amount of vanadium can vary. Therefore, you could have 1.1% of vanadium, or you could have 0.17% of vanadium. And the difference and the, tempering and, all that kind of stuff will make a difference in the performance. It'll make a big difference. Okay, have I beat that dog to death? Right hand, deep carry, tip up, centered, no blade play, no lock rock, not a problem. Nice liners, looks good, fit and finish is good, jimping on the flipper tab. So you start out just bitching and moaning about a knife. And some people want you to love every knife that you review. It's like, you gotta love it or you're a jerk. I just can't do that. Homie don't play that. So I ain't playing. I'm gonna, just kind of call them as I see them. And 2 weeks from now, I'll probably want to retract all my hateful crap because I'll probably fall in love with the damn knife, because there's a lot to like about this knife. If you like, it's just kind of gimmicky with the Eye of Ra. Actually, if they'd have left that completely out, done some other kind of milling or texturing on the handle, I think I'd like it better. They didn't leave it unobstructed to where you could twirl it for a defensive, change of draw, like some of these have a, thing. They didn't do that. They stopped short there. So nice pocket clip, easy in and out of the pocket. Okay, I get that. But yeah, then that's not functional as anything except the Eye of Rawness. So, oh well, okay, never mind. Yeah, let's weigh it up and get on with this thing. We'll do dimensions and stuff, and I'm going to take it apart. We're going to take a little look-see on the inside. But 4.15 ounces, so kind of, kiss your sister type of thing, if you live in Arkansas. 117.5 ounces, so yes, it's not heavy, it's not light, but it's G10 and steel liners, so it is what it is, especially if it's not a tiny little knife, and it's not. It's, I can say 3.5 inches. I can say 4.5 inches, but that'd be a lie. But I can say 3.5 inches, and then we can argue, okay? Okay, 3.4, 90 millimeters, or do you want to argue that it's more like 87? Okay. But it just depends on where you want to put your tape. And then almost 8 inches, 20 to 20 and a half centimeters. Not huge, pretty EDCable, not that much heavier than like a paramilitary 2 that's 3.8 ounces, so this is 4.1. You're not going to feel the difference in your pocket. A little thicker though, I think. What do you want to bet? 0.52, yeah, because the Para 2 is 0.46, so okay. And 13.3 millimeters, and let's see what our blade stock is. Only 3.1 millimeters, so no more of that 4 millimeter fat stuff. 0.12 of an inch, so not bad. So they're making a thinner blade. It's nice and slicey, good for cutting, and the ergos are fine. I mean, it's pretty neutral through here, so you ought to be able to find a place to get comfortable Reverse grip is fine too. That's easy to accomplish. Yeah, and you know, the action's pretty fair. I haven't put a wrench to it yet, so this is out of the box stuff right here. So what do you think about that? I think it's pretty reasonable right now. I haven't done any adjusting, but it's not drop shutty necessarily, but it's kind of like they are, you know, especially initially. Got their logo here on the pivot, and the hardware's typical, and I don't think they've gone to number 8s yet. And where's my wrenches? And here they are. So let's see, number 6s. Yeah, we're still with the old number 8, number 6 routine. Unfortunately, because, you know, Civivi has gone all the way to number 8s all the way around, which makes it a lot more sensible. These things are less likely to booger out on the inside when they're number 8s, and your actual torques being a bigger, you know, a bigger bit, this being smaller, this being a lot bit bigger, will have less likelihood of crapping up as well and rounding over because of the way that is. So it makes sense to go to number 8s. It's just so much easier to work with. They haven't got that memo or the D2 memo. I think this is still D2, but they've gone to 9CR18 on some of theirs. So this is, you know, Civivi's a big favorite of mine for several reasons. But Bestech, hey, Swordfish, Paladin, Muskie, Hornet, absolutely. 4 knives that I think are, you know, wonderful. Did I ever throw my Muskie in there? See? This is the Muskie reborn. Don't you think? I mean, instead of full flat, they just did this little swedge along here. And other than that, where's the big difference in the blade shape? I mean, it's really close. I mean, it's just a variation on a theme. And I love that Muskie. Isn't that nice? Of course, I dyed it, you know, but love the Muskie. That makes a lot of sense. So these do too, you know, in that regard. And the design flows, blade to handle length is reasonably good. You've got this wraparound backspacer comes up here. So how much more could you have given it? A little bit more. They could have given it another 16th, but they didn't, and I can still reach in and touch the tip of that blade. So I'm good with it. I'm good with it as far as that ratio goes. Not a bad little item as far as just utility. It's I just thought this Eye of Ra was a little gimmicky, and it's just like we're just searching now for some little extra gimmick to throw on something, and I don't think you have to do that. This is a nice design in itself. You don't need that, but if you dig it, then that's cool. And if you can overlook it, even though you don't really appreciate it, but everything else wins you over, then so be it as well. And they make these in yellow and in orange. Should have got a yellow one. That would have been really cool. Well, one thing for sure, I can't get in this way, so we got to go back door, and it's easy. I don't think I've ever really had a problem taking a Bestech apart that I can remember, but my memory, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, so what does that say? Here we go, and just ask Mrs. LTK. She can attest to that. Next, and here again, we're going to take the pocket clip with us because we're going to take it all off of this side. There's a pocket clip with the screw. Here's Mr. Insanity. Come on out of there. Here's your scale, and there's where she be, and she's kind of goopy on the underside, a little wet with some lube, but there you go. Now you've got a liner, and there ain't nothing holding it on. So what could be finer than a liner with no binder? And we're going to take that off just like that. I'm almost looking good, huh? So far, haven't screwed it up. Okay, you got a ceramic detamp ball here. And you have ceramic bearings, but of course we do. And it's pretty clean. Pretty clean. Oh, throw the blade stop out. Yeah, come on, baby. There you go. Get out of here. Yeah, we're good. We're pretty clean. Not too shabby. All right, so let's investigate. Ah, flat, one piece, pivot. Thank you, Bestech. I mean, that, if they're going to do anything, at least they're doing that. The ceramic detent, the ceramic bearings, good fit and finish. So, yeah, do I like Bestech G10 knives? Hello, did you see the ones I got on my table? Yeah, of course I do. So, yeah, but, and this is nice, well put together, came apart real easy. I'm a happy guy. This side, of course, I never disassembled, etc. And we've got a blade stop here, but we need to throw in our pivot. Now, as we can see from the other side here, that this is the flat spot is at the back. So we want to have the flat part of the pivot back here facing backwards. Then we just need to throw bearing, which I already got some lube on. This is going to go like this. This already had some lube on it. I'm leaving it. And so this needs to fit. And it is. And we're going to put the scale back over. And here we go. Kind of get that tacked in place. Then I guess I can throw my pocket clip in here. That should fall together pretty easily. Good. And one more. Centered up. About the same kind of action it had. Might be able to adjust that a little bit. Take a little bit of pressure off of it. Yeah, a little bit nicer draw. Pretty close. Yeah, nicer. No play. So, we're good. Beseech Eye of Ra. What do you think? I like the design because I like the musky. Whether I feel it's a bit repetitive and they're just searching for something to be a little gimmicky, and that's just kind of that Chinese approach. Actually don't need to be gimmicky. They could do a different pattern. Eye of Ra, no, something else. And yes, yes, I'm into that. This, not so much the way they did it. Take care, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me. You know what we do. We love them knives. So you guys, stay safe.